Now, I feel like people are getting a little sick of me asking questions. We have a few questions here from some of your friends in the pickleball world.
Okay.
The first one here is actually from your friend, Anna Leigh Waters.
Okay, Wes, I have a very serious question for you, so get mentally prepared. Now, tapping paddles is standard after winning the point, and since we're playing together a lot next year, I was hoping that we could spice things up a little bit, and after winning a point, instead of tapping paddles, we can hit the whoa. And there are many variations I had at the whoa. You can hit it like this, like this, like this, like this. So my question to you is, can you hit the whoa? And if you don't have any idea what it is, you need to start practicing so that we can do that in a match.
So the question is, can you hit the whoa?
Hey, what I'll tell her, I will, whatever she comes up with, I will do the whoa as long as I don't get hurt while doing it.
All right, we got a next question here. And this question's coming from our friend Steve Paranto.
This is Steve Paranto. I'm at the bowling alley with my latest pickleball protege, Spencer Laurent. Unfortunately, Wes and Eddie and Webby, I can't get him to drink beer with me, but that's okay. We do have a couple questions for your show. Hey, Wes, I know when you were starting out, I was kind of your coach, and in fact, I was his partner, Spencer, and when he got really good, we called it men's mixed doubles. But anyway, in those early days, there was one thing that I kept telling Wes: why are you hitting these backhand slice returns? The baseline game is the forehand game. Quit it! Well, of all the things I showed Wes, that's the one he ignored, and it's a good thing because his backhand slice is his signature shot. I mean, I could hear it whistling when it went by my ear. But the question I have for you, so working with Spencer, he's already won 3, 4, 5 tournaments, Wes. In fact, he was 3 for 3, 4, 5, kind of combined 5-0. Doing great, but what does someone like Spencer need to work on to get to the Wes Gabrielsen level? Because, you went through those levels. So that's my question, and then I think Spencer has a good question too.
So that was Steve's question for you. What are some things that Spencer can be working on to work your way through those levels?
Sure. Well, first of all, I owe a lot to Steve. He's like my pickleball guy. Taught me a lot about pickleball. I loved playing with him. We did play men's mixed doubles, as he called it, a lot. And and it was really an honor for me this year. I got to give his speech for the Pickleball Hall of Fame, so that was really cool for me to be able to do that for him. So I owe a lot to him. But I've played with Spencer a couple times. Great guy. I would say at the level he's at, just learning when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. I feel like he's got so much consistency, and he's quick, and he makes smart choices. I feel like as people transition to that 5-0 level, it's figuring out when to attack against a better player that can dish it back. And a ball that may work against a 4-5 is not going to work against a 5-0. So for me, that's the biggest thing I see with Spencer. He's got so much potential, and he's a good person too. He's fun to play with and against.
Okay. Great advice. Here is the question then from Spencer.
I have a question for you, Wes. So when we're cross-court thinking against each other, the one time we got to play together, how do you deal with or neutralize your heavy underspin slice dinks? Because it's really tricky. That's my question for you, Wes.
That's a good one, because Wes he's left-handed, so Wes's sharp, abrupt backhand slice goes to people's forehands.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that forehand dinks cross-court are very difficult for people, and I think Wes puts people in a tough position, although I know Wes has played with people that he knows can handle it. So, Wes, what advice, maybe he doesn't want people to know how to handle it. But, so we'll see if he answers this or not. But anyway, Eddie and Webby, thanks for having us ask these questions, and great having Wes on your show. See ya.
See ya.
So they're asking you to give advice for how to defend against your wicked, nasty backspin slice dink.
I think I might plead the fifth on that one. I don't know.
Nice.
I may pull my social studies curriculum and teaching about the amendments. I may plead the fifth. I think I'm going to have a conversation with Spencer the next time I see him, and I'll tell him. Or he can go ask. I mean, two people that I've played against that handle it super well cross court have always been Tyson McGuffin and Colin Johns. And if you know their game, you know what they do really well. So I'll leave it at that.
We have one more question here.
Okay.
And this comes from our friend Irina Tereschenko.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
Hi, guys. Are you ready for the Super Bowl? Go Chiefs. Wes, I have a question for you. I know you are a teacher and a high school tennis coach. So what is your favorite historical fact? And what is your favorite motivational quote for your tennis players?
So one thing I love about Irina is that she loves to have fun facts about people, right? So she wants to know, since you're a history teacher, what's your favorite historical fact?
Well, I like the Chiefs classes that she had. All the Kansas City people are going to be happy with that, and the fact that I don't know if she realizes, but I'm a Packer fan, so I wish we were in the Super Bowl, but the Niners outplayed us. The first time I really talked to Irina at Nationals, probably 3-4 years ago, I loved the conversation, but she asked me so many questions about what history I teach and if I teach Russian history. And we talked for about Russian literature and stuff, and what a smart, well-read individual that she is. She is really bright, very knowledgeable. So it doesn't surprise me she asked a question like this. My favorite historical fact. Oh my gosh.
That's a tough one.
I don't know if I could pick, a lot of them are my nerdy music history facts that I tell my history of rock and roll. And someone may fact check me on the percentage because I may inflate it because I'm not a math teacher. But I think it is on 90-ish% of the Beach Boys records, they didn't play their own instruments.
Really?
The vocals, and there was a studio. This is a big long fact, I guess. The studio musicians were called the Wrecking Crew, and they consisted of people like Glenn Campbell played guitar, and Leon Russell piano, played on almost all of the Beach Boys tracks. They played on Frank Sinatra stuff. I always like telling my kids about that because they think the Beach Boys play all their instruments on every album.
I always did. I always thought that.
Yeah, well, they sing all the vocals, and then when they went on tour, they would play all the instruments. But it always sounds different. And actually, the one that my students like a little bit more is the 70s and 80s version of that. Is the band Toto actually played a lot of the instruments on Thriller for Michael Jackson. They played a lot of the parts, but that's my music fact that I like. I don't really have one fact that I really like above all the rest.
Well,
I think what was her other one?
I think it was something about what's the best advice you give to your
coaching
tennis students or something.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my tennis player. That was right. What's my big motivational line?
Mm-hmm.
I always like to say you got to hit you have to visit a lot of valleys before you reach the peak. I mean, you gotta fail to succeed. So when I get players to try a more conventional grip than maybe an unorthodox one that they've grown up using, and they're so competitive that they want to win the rally game, but said you got to sacrifice winning to get better at the stroke. So you got to go to a lot of valleys before you hit the peak. I guess that would be
nice.
And win the last point. People ask me advice. Pickleball, what do you need to do? I win the last point.
Win the last point, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
Great stuff.
But,
very good advice.
Pickleball addicting and fun, that's no joke. Pickleballing, it's not just for old folks. Pickleball.